What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is salon rental versus booth rental. This is one of my favorite topics because I have been commission-based, I have been booth rental, and I have been suite rental, which is what I am currently at now. And I have pros and cons to both booth renting and suite renting. So I want to share that with you guys just in case you're stuck in a pickle and you don't know which one's going to work best for you. Hopefully I can guide you towards a path that will suit your lifestyle best and help make you the decision whenever you are choosing your salon home. So currently right now I am in a suite rental salon, which means that I have a landlord, but I also have my own room to myself. And that is where I take my clients and I do my work. But prior to that, I did work in a booth rental salon while I was trying to build my clientele and start my hair business. And I have both pros and cons for each of those. So starting back in my hair journey, I got trained at a commission-based salon. And whenever I felt confident enough to take the floor, I decided to do that at a booth rental salon. Not a lot of people do that because they feel like they want to use commission-based salons to help grow their clientele, because in sense, commission-based salons will give you clients. However, I figured that I could just do it myself if I put a lot of effort into it, and went off on my own independently and rented out a booth rental spot. What I really loved in that moment of my life was that I knew that I did not want to work commission-based, and that's why booth rental made a lot of sense to me. I wanted to be an independent stylist, I wanted to have my own schedule, and I wanted to be able to pick and choose the services that I was going to be doing for my clientele. So now I want to dive into the subject between booth rental versus suite rental, and I want to be able to break those down for you in my own personal experiences. But just always remember to do your research on the suite or the booth rental place that you are wanting to look into, just because every single building has their own set of rules. So my experiences may be different than yours. So first things first, let's talk about pricing. I found that at the booth rental salon, I was paying a lot less than I was paying at my suite rental salon. For instance, my booth rental, I was paying $30 a day. With my suite rental, I pay $255 a week. However, I have talked to my landlord and I am able to split my rent in half because I have somebody else renting out my salon on the weekends. So there are ways that you can be able to negotiate price depending on the person that is your landlord or your salon owner. So now we're going to talk about responsibility. I found that at my booth rental salon, I had a little less responsibility than I did at my suite rental that I'm at currently. This being said, I am the only person in my suite rental, so I'm the one that is in charge of all the cleaning, all the prepping, etc. Versus whenever you're working in a building with multiple people, you are kind of sharing responsibilities. So now moving on to initial startup. At my booth rental, I had a 1099, so I was working underneath a name. And then at my suite rental, I had to create my own name. There was a lot more startup. Honestly, my fiance kind of did it all. I didn't really do much of it. I do know that we had to make an LLC. There were lots of certifications and licenses and just a bunch of stuff that we had to do. I just remember booth rental was a lot less hectic on that side. So the startup is definitely something you want to consider whenever you are wanting to look into a suite rental. The environment is also a really big difference as well, and this is something that I kind of go back and forth on a lot. So when you're working with a lot of people, you have to think you're surrounded by people all the time, which can be really great. And then also in terms of creating content, I kind of didn't really like that. I felt like I didn't have any privacy inside of a salon working with other team members. Whenever I was making videos, I felt like I was in the way of people making content for my Instagram. I was always worried about getting other people's clients in the videos. So that was something that I didn't like. But also moving to my suite rental, there are times that I do get lonely because you are by yourself. That is something to consider as well if you are somebody who likes to be immersed in a group of people versus being alone. I do know that I do go back and forth on figuring out which one I liked more. However, suite rental did work for me because I do make a lot of content, and granted, I am alone. I do have the privacy that I need whenever it comes to creating. And now for one of my favorite ones on why I really liked suite rental was suite design. I am a person that in my atmosphere, I am constantly changing things. And I really, really enjoy the aesthetic of a salon. So moving to my suite rental, I was able to do whatever I want, and I change it seasonally because I do like to change my environment a lot. However, whenever I was working underneath somebody in a booth rental salon, it was their design, which I liked, but like I said, I do get bored of places often, and I do love to create in a space that I feel aesthetically pleasing in. So that was one thing that I really loved whenever I decided to switch over to suite rental, was the design aspect. I could do whatever I wanted. So then feeling of ownership is something that differs between the two as well. At my suite rental salon, it is named Ash Avenue. That is completely underneath my name. I own that, and everything in there is mine. At the booth rental salon, I worked at a place called True Sparks, and that was the owner's salon name. So I didn't own anything in it. I was just an employee there renting out a spot. So being able to have a name wasn't something too important to me, but I did like the fact that I was able to have my own brand. It really helped me, especially with creating content. I felt a little bit more independent in that sense. However, it wasn't something that was too big of a deal breaker whenever I was deciding between the two. So utilizing the two spaces as a stepping stone is something that you can do as well. Booth rental was a stepping stone to suite rental for me because it gave me a little bit of independence, but it also made me want a little bit more without having a storefront. So I felt like booth rental was really good stepping stone into suite rental. Now, if I ever wanted to have a storefront one day, I definitely feel confident in knowing the independent side of that because I did have a suite. And I feel like suite rental comes with just a little bit more responsibility than a booth rent does. So that also would be something to consider if you are wanting to open a storefront one day. That could be an easier transition for you whenever you're trying to go through that process. So while there are differences, there are also a lot of similarities between the two. For instance, independence and then flexibility of scheduling. With owning your own spot or owning your own suite, you are independent. So you are in charge of taking your clients. You're in charge of scheduling your clients. You're in charge of your hours within the day. For me, I did have my own independence at both of the places. I also did have a lot of flexibility whenever it came to my own personal free time as well. And I'll give some examples for that. At my booth rental spot, I was part-time. So I kind of picked the days that I was wanting to work. I knew I wanted to work 2 days a week while I was building my book. And then I could also leave and arrive whenever I wanted. It was kind of everything was on me. And same goes for suite rental. I only work 3 to 4 days a week, and I have the opportunity to rent out my spot to another stylist. So that also gives me flexibility with my free time. There's just a little bit more responsibility with trying to figure out who to have in the salon and kind of just discussing the days that you're going to split up with people. But for the most part, you do have flexible scheduling and you are able to create your own book for yourself too. So that's something that both of them have in common. There just are a little bit of differences between the two. So whenever you're deciding on which path works best for you, if you're wanting something more independent, feel free to look at both of those scenarios and see which one is going to work best in your current situation, because at the end of the day, it is your job and you want to be completely happy with the salon home that you do pick. So I hope you were able to find something of value within this video whenever you're looking for your own salon home, and taking my own personal experiences and being able to decipher between the two roads that you want to take when you are looking into suite rental or booth rental. Also, if you want to see more of my salon life and what I do behind the chair, feel free to hop on over to my Instagram page. I post a lot of content regarding formulas that I use on my clients, information that's anything hair related, so you can hop on over there and give me a follow. And then if you found value within this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll be posting more in the future, and then I'll see you all next time.